8,000, 7,000, 5,000.
Battle of El Gigantes. If you don't speak Spanish, that's the Giants, Bitcoin and ETH. Which one will bring you the better return on investment through the end of the year? We're going to have that discussion. I'm curious, while I finish up this intro, do you think I'm going to be bullish on ETH or Bitcoin? Or do you think Rob is going to be more bullish on ETH or Bitcoin? Drop your predictions in the comment section. We're going to talk about treasury companies. This is a pattern that we're continuing to see, not just with Bitcoin. Now we have a BNB treasury company, a Tron treasury company, and another altcoin, a company just announced that they're creating a treasury for one layer, one blockchain, one cryptocurrency. Which one is it? What does it mean? Are they going to be what blows up and starts the next bear market? A lot of people are talking about it. We're also going to talk about it. We're also going to talk about Avalanche. We're going to talk about PayPal. We're going to take a look at some charts, and we're going to take a trip down memory lane all the way back to 2014. We have that and much, much more on today's episode of Sin City Crypto. Let's go.
Hola! Is your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto, home of the entertainment-focused cryptocurrency content, where we take old, boring, stale information, repackage that thing up in a fun, sexy Las Vegas Elvis and Frank Sinatra kind of way. If you had to pick one to come back from the dead, Frank Sinatra or Elvis? Which one?
Elvis.
I'm going with Frank Sinatra.
Bro, Elvis.
Straight. He was a straight.
Elvis was a
G,
partier.
bro.
Dude used to blow a freaking snort an 8-ball and go out there and just straight up rock the crowd, bro. That was good days of Vegas here, man.
I also love that peanut butter and banana sandwich. That was his go-to. How do
you know that?
It's how he got that amazing figure he had later in life.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend. He was a bigger individual. He blamed his weight on peanut butter and jellies. He had one every day.
You know, I served his granddaughter one time. Elvis's granddaughter.
Stop the show. Wow!
I hate you. I hate you.
Holy crap.
I despise you. I hate you with a passion.
No, I'm just massively jealous. If I was only as fortunate as you have been to have encountered individuals' grandchildren.
Okay, just wait. Just wait till the show continues and yeah. Okay. Let's start here. Bitcoin versus Ethereum, okay? So let's talk about flows from last week, okay? Bitcoin saw negative weekly flows. 175 million flowed out of Bitcoin. 1.6 billion flowed in to Ethereum. Solana saw $300 million flow in. XRP saw $190 million flow in. SWI saw 8.1 million flow in. And the rest is negligible. Cardano, 1.3 million. Chainlink, 530K. And multi-asset Litecoin saw negative 1.1 million. But the trend is clear. Institutions have shifted from Bitcoin ETF to Ethereum ETF. And this is I don't want to say battle, but a conversation we've had multiple times. And the question of when ETH inflows pick up, is it going to take away from Bitcoin inflows or is it going to be fresh capital? I think we are starting to see our answer is it is taken away from the Bitcoin inflows. So with that being said, does this mean that this trend is going to continue and ETH will outperform Bitcoin through the latter half of the year? Before we got into this conversation, I do want to give a big thank you. Today's show is brought to you by Stake.us, the #1 social gaming casino in the entire world. And if you're in the United States, they have a special platform for you, which is Stake.us. You log on every day, you get free stake cash, and you redeem it for crypto. So whether you're a hodler of Ethereum, of Bitcoin, Hedera, XLM, doesn't matter. You convert that, and then there it is for free just by logging in. You can also have fun playing poker. If you're coming to Vegas next month for the convention and you're going to be in the poker tournament, what a better place to sharpen up those poker skills. That's what I'll be doing this Saturday. I'll be going live on Saturday doing a special live stream partnership with Stake. Come join me and sign up. Create an account. Links in the description. Thank you, Stake, for sponsoring the show. We love you.
Try the platform out. Download it.
Yeah.
Or go on the website.
You don't download it. It's on the webpage.
Go
moron.
sign up.
Yes, sign up.
It's easy as 1, 2, and do it. Thank you.
Wow. Insane. So,
you know, you have very nice ad sponsorship, you know, testimonials, ad rolls.
yeah.
You know, sometimes you just got to look at the camera and you say, like, yo, help us out, man. Support who supports us.
Yeah.
Try the platform out. You ain't got to be sold on it. But you do got to test the waters. Thank you.
Well, you're so good.
I'm a way better salesman than you are.
You should take over then. You should do all the ad rolls. It would be a disaster. We would lose every sponsor.
It would be a completely new ad roll.
Every single sponsor. No.
Every single.
I would get Telegram messages up the wazoo saying, what happened to our testimonials?
Bet you I'd get more signups than you. For every sign up, you will add and then incentive.
Okay, you know what? Okay, we're going to start a competition. I will create 2 separate campaigns, one tracking Rob, one tracking me, and we'll see. And we'll do a nice little bet. But in the meantime, create an account. Okay, 1.6 billion flowed into ETH, 175 million flowed out of Bitcoin. Is this a mass migration from Wall Street, from Bitcoin to Ethereum? This is not just a 1-week thing. This has been a trend now for 3 weeks and continuing.
Do you still compartmentalize ETF and exchanges? I don't know. I'm just a genuine question. Do you look at the flows as though they're complete? You say, like, the flows are leaving the ETFs from Bitcoin. They're moving to Ethereum. Wall Street is doing this. The ETFs are just another exchange. And so take a look here. You have ETH on the 1 month. It has moved from $2,400 to $3,700. This is over 50% gains on Ethereum in the last 4 weeks or the last month. You compare it against Bitcoin, it's night and day. Massive breakout. As you mentioned, this hasn't just been in the last week. This is what we've just seen over and over again. ETH is running. I think altcoin season is here, or has at least been kicked off. It's like if you're at the start line, whatever it is, you got the racers, their knees are down or whatever it is, and one knee down, and they got the hands, and then the guy shoots the gun. That's what's happening. The gun has been shot. We're starting altcoin season, and what just for those of you, the big money lives on Wall Street, but it's just another exchange. It's another place to buy and sell crypto. And so if ETH is outperforming Bitcoin, you'll see it in the exchanges. You'll see it in the TVL. You'll see it in daily active users growing compared one versus the other, things of that nature. ETH performing better than Bitcoin because it's been performing better than Bitcoin on the ETFs and on the exchanges. And that's just the flows here. I don't think Wall Street woke up. I don't think that someone at Wall Street woke up today, got out of their Maybach, walked into their financial whatever corporate office they are, and like, you know what? We're selling our Bitcoin. We're buying ETH. No, the people have spoken. They decided to buy ETH. They're buying it on exchanges. They're buying it in ETFs. That's what the reality. Thank you. And it's going to continue because we just started. The gun just sounded off, and we're off to the races. Altcoin season is here. You've been waiting to make money. The time is now. Put your seatbelts on. Thank you.
Wow. Great overview. Still didn't answer my question.
What was the question?
You see they let Chuck E. Cheese go?
They let my boy.
They saw the real quick, man. Shout out to Gino. What a spectacular talent she is putting those shorts together. Good job, Gino. Those of you that haven't watched our Hedera video from today, it's a fun one. Go watch it. Not now, though. Don't leave the live. Watch it after the live, okay? Also, speaking of after live, I'll be running the trading show on Sistine Trading. So come join me. Okay. Well, here's an article from The Street. Not the streets, Robin. The Street, the actual publication. Ethereum's 30% rally fueled by policy clarity and ETF momentum. This is, and speaking about the Genius Act or the Genius Bill, it's the key, says David Brickell of FRNT Financial. When everyone was beating up on Ethereum over the last year, Rob, it's still the most dominant chain where developers go to, said David. And it's the one institutions are building on, also said David. So here's a synopsis. And I feel like, was it Raul Paul or Mark Yusko? One of the smart ones on X was saying, look, the passing of the Genius Act just put ETH at the very forefront. Is it a coincidence that we saw that and the inflows of the Ethereum ETF start to peak or start to really ramp up and, in fact, outpace that of Bitcoin's? No. And that's been my entire thesis for ETH over the last 3 months. Yes, price action has been terrible. Yes, if you look at the Bitcoin ETH chart, it's been horrible. Yes, others have outperformed it massively. Yes, it's slow. Yes, they're slow to update. Yes, yes, yes. But we're able to forecast when the Genius Bill passes, Ethereum will be front and center. And well, here we are. Ethereum is front and center. And I think what a lot of people are waiting on, I know a lot of people hold ETH, but more people hold ETH native tokens, right? ERC tokens. And I think as the money starts to trickle down, ETH hits all-time highs. It hits that 5,500, 6K, 10K. We have one price prediction on ETH we're going to get to here in a second. You're going to see that money trickle into the ecosystem, and that's when you get that true altcoin rally, and then you'll get the same kind of cycle of flows, but I think more amplified and a little bit more concentrated in what we're seeing. So.
Beautiful.
You have nothing to say. I am shocked.
You know, we've been waiting for altcoin season, right? And what has really held us back was regulatory uncertainty. That's where we were at. In previous administration, they were trying to shut everything down other than Bitcoin. The Bitcoin ETF passed under Joe Biden's administration. And so they gave the green light, and more or less you could argue as forcibly, to offer an ETF for Bitcoin. Outside of that, everything else was blackballed. It was shunned out. It was said, nah, not up in here. Mm-mm. So now we've had a change in administration. We've had a change in policy and change in, well, everything when it comes to the U.S. and embracing crypto. And so if we went from an environment where the U.S. was pro-Bitcoin but anti-everything else to an environment where, hey, we're opening up the floodgates for people to invest in altcoins, essentially is the narrative here. Well, where did you think the money was going to go? Or at least, and I'm not saying that money is leaving Bitcoin, but I just think that you're getting an accelerated rate of investment into altcoins because now they're fair game. Not to mention, there's going to be so much damn money to make from the stablecoin industry. Think about this. We always talk about crypto, changing bank accounts, and hedge against inflation. Money's just going to move faster on crypto. Those processing timeline, that when you swipe your credit card, you see processing for 3 days. God forbid the server swipes your card on the wrong table and you got to wait 3 days to get your money back. No, not no more.
Now you just won't get your money back.
Now you just won't get your money back. But here's the thing, like the traditional way of moving money is outdated. You want to send money internationally through a wire transfer, or say you're paying some large invoice and you got to pay $50,000 and you got to send a wire. Good luck. The bank's going to probably harass you trying to figure out where you're sending your own money to. It's going to cost you $50 just to send a wire. And then on top of that, you're going to have a 3 to 4 day settlement.
I'll tell you
if
what,
you're
man.
lucky, 48 hours.
I mean, we just had a couple months ago a 6-figure transaction with stablecoins, and it was seamless.
Yeah, and
seconds it was in the wallet.
And so, because technology and innovation is going to force upon change, or it's going to force change upon people, it's not even a question of will this technology replace? It is, because at the end of the day, if you're a business owner. And you're trying to, you got quarterly reports, you're a publicly traded company, just say you're barely making ends meet. You're sitting there looking at your cost basis. If 2% of it is tied up in money management fees or transaction fees or processing headaches, and it can simply just go away by using crypto, why wouldn't you do that? And so that is coming, one. And so crypto is going to replace just a lot of the traditional payment systems, but it's all going to be built on layer one blockchains, on the ones that we have come to grow up and love, like the names like Ethereum, Hedera, XRP, Stellar Lumens. Anyways, these are going to be the railroad tracks that connects coast to coast, that connects all of the cities, that connects trade. It's no different, but this is with technology, right? We saw an economic boom once the United States had a railroad that went from coast to coast, right? But prior to that, there was no trading. And so here, you're just building a payment channel that goes from point A to point B without the big headaches and costs. It's going to be a lot cheaper, more efficient. That money's going to flow in there. That's what we're seeing. Altcoin season is here. Just remember this. I'll leave this last point to you, is that if you've been wondering why has not altcoin season not started, with the Genius Bill, with progressive regulation to get money into altcoins, especially here in the U.S., we've always said retail, well, they haven't shown up yet, right? We got to where we're at in the market with the prices of crypto, with the price of altcoins and where they're at. It was all off the back of investors like me and you, right? Just you bought XRP and so did 10,000 other people. That's how it got its price. Now we've saturated that market. You're not walking around and all of a sudden people are just coming up like, hey man, I bought a Hedera. You might get a handful of those people, but you're not getting tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of people being onboarded buying Hedera. No, the money's going to come in from institutions, but the institutions are here. Institutions have a reason to buy. Institutions are coming in with money. And so, that's why I firmly believe that altcoin season is here. It's going to be centralized into the ones that corporate and institutions decide to use versus just throwing money at the wall like we've seen retail before.
Let's actually go. Let's take a look at the markets since you kind of talked about altcoin market, and then we'll. I got an ETH outlook, and then we'll. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, you just the market caps?
Yeah.
All right,
Let's look over. I know AVAX was up. The markets are seeing a little bit of a pullback.
Yeah, a little volatility. You look at Bitcoin just on the 1 day. This morning we were up again, testing out that 120 range. Got rejected. We went up twice, hit it. Started flirting around there, but we lost that. Currently at 117. And also, you just kind of look at the 1 week, nothing to be concerned about. We did come out of the weekend at 115, so we did see a sell-off on Bitcoin this week, but held really strong support at 115. Could we go back down to 115 again? Perhaps. Don't know if I don't think we'll lose that mark. I think that 115 is strong support, or at least it's shown so. You look at the 1 month, you can see that we've had this nice consolidation ever since basically more or less the beginning of the month. So the 10th of August, or excuse me, July, we saw a breakout into the 115 to 120 range, consolidated. Seems like this is ready for another rally, but when? I think sometime later this week. Got the end of the month coming up. So a lot of futures expiring. Could see some volatility.
Should be no, end of Q2 is July. Wait, August, October.
No idea. All right. So taking a look, optimism is up 9%, and then you got Story, Hyperledger, Radium, SPX.
Oh, we're in Q3. Sorry.
So you have Avalanche. I know this is probably the most well-known, or at least the largest market cap crypto here out of the top gainers. And we saw some very healthy movement out of Avalanche here on the 1 month. You can see it went from $17 up to 25. But we did see a nice breakout. A lot of this is reversed as Bitcoin's price did, but we saw a $27 Avalanche. Avalanche had not been performing pretty well, or has not been performing well up against the other strong layer ones, even being outperformed by ETH. Now, a lot of people have been saying, like, when Avalanche, there is an ETF application. This is something that was in the top 10. It's fallen outside of the top 10 at the number 17. I have a very strong feeling that Avalanche is about to rally. I think 2x within by the end of next month, I think is likely. And that would put it above $50. What do you think about Avalanche breaking over $50 by next month? So by the end of next month.
So 2x?
No, remind you, it was there back in January. You go back on the 1 year.
Yeah, it was at
$54 back in December, and all-time high did put it at 120. I think $50 is around the corner.
So I'm just looking at the.
This bull market has been over $50 twice already. I think the ETF is gonna bring in a lot of flows. A lot of the ETF applicants that are in have had very strong performances. So if you looked at Cardano, is performing very well this bull market. You look at Hedera, XRP, Stellar. A lot of these, I guess the two outliers would be Solana and Avalanche, are two that we have not seen rally, although they do have ETFs. So you ask yourself this: if they start to rally, the ETF gets approved, you could see a nice slingshot up to some new all-time highs, in my opinion, or at least it has the fuel to do so.
I'm just looking at Avalanche. So just taking a look at market cipher B, you can kind of, this is like you pop the hood open, you check your gauge levels. Money flow is expanding, good. VWAP expanding, good. We'll see where this momentum wave clips. But if we can put in a higher high than this 80 we had back on Saturday the 19th, and then momentum oscillators look great as well. From a price action standpoint on AVAX, weekly shows a W pattern, which is very bullish. You're seeing a lot of that on the altcoins. But when we take a look on the daily, let's throw this on here. We did have a big liquidity grab right up at around $27. You can see how it pushed the price down. And then I'm just seeing if there's any gaps here on the daily that we could potentially fill. Now, there is a massive order block down here at around, it's between $23.78 and $26, which we're kind of in that range now. Around 32% of all trading happened here. And, buyers edged out the sellers, not by a lot, but they still edged them out. If we zoom into the 4 hour, see if we can find any gaps. There is one gap here, and I'll draw this out. So you have a fair value gap, top end sitting at, again, 23.76, which is that order block from the daily time frame. We did clear the previous week high, which is good, but are currently trading below. So we're going to get a pushback up into this premium zone. I don't know. Potentially coming in and filling this gap. I will say, lower end of the gap, we did have a massive liquidity grab that essentially gave us another W pattern on the 4 hour that pushed AVAX up from a low of around 22.92. So essentially a 20% rally. And so if there is more downside, I target that $23.50 level as a rebound, a potential bounce if you are looking to trade. Speaking of trading, we did put in a trade yesterday, AIXBT. That's not faring too well, down 48% on that one. Our Bitcoin trade is still in the green at 11% ROI. And so we'll see what happens with AIXBT. But if you want to trade with us, there's a link in the description. We are partnered with Weeks. So yeah, so that's AVAX. I do want to talk about a little bit about ETH here. This is an article from ZY Crypto. Crypto analyst says ETH on the cusp of a violent upside move to $13,000. This is a source from Wolf. I am Crypto Wolf. As promised, here's the updated ETH outlook. 2 paths ahead. Conservative target $8,000, optimistic $13,000. In both scenarios, expect a sharp 20 to 25% washout after all-time highs. Final shakeout before liftoff. Q4 is when it ignites. This is the roadmap. This is the map he's kind of showing. Little bit of a funnel, a falling wedge, sort of, or this one's rising. You have there's a lot of squiggly lines here, there, Rob. But 13K in Q4. What are your thoughts on that?
13. I think the 10,000 mark is going to be something to keep an eye out, right? Will it outperform Bitcoin in Q4? Yes, I think it will. I think what we're seeing now currently is finally money moving from Bitcoin and trickling down into alts, particularly ETH. We've seen it time and time again in retail and traditional bull markets, right? Will we see it in Wall Street? I say yes. I think so. I think that as institutions, I think it's more or less traders and individuals, smaller companies, as they start increasing their position on Bitcoin just simply because the price goes up as far as their portfolio percentage. They have a 2% allocation, a 1% allocation, a 5% allocation to Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's price were to double, let's just say we're sitting at a $220,000 Bitcoin, their position on the portfolio will also double, right? Or at least be something near that. And they'll have to reallocate. Will they go out of? Will they remove all of their Bitcoin all their gains and move it elsewhere to gold and stock market and bonds? And perhaps, yes, in some percentage they will, but some other percentage is going to say, hey, you know what? We made a killing on Bitcoin. Let's sell some of the profits because we have to rebalance the portfolio. Let's talk to the team. We made a decision to hold Bitcoin. It's paid very well. We've hit our targets. We're still at 3% portfolio size. Let's take the profits. Let's move it into an altcoin. ETH has been doing the same thing. ETH is performing well. Institutions are getting in on that. They're going to have a position on that as well. I think that is coming. Now, not everyone's going to do it. They're going to have Bitcoin maxis. They're going to be people that don't believe in ETH. But I think it, in a percentage, yes. But also, you got to think of this. ETH's smaller market cap takes less money to move. So you don't need 100% of the same people that bought Bitcoin in Wall Street to buy ETH for it to have the same impact. Because Bitcoin is a $2 trillion asset. ETH is what? 300 billion?
500 billion.
500 billion? You only need a smaller portion, right?
Okay, so let's answer the question that's in our title of the show today. Where are you going to maximize your ROI? In Bitcoin or in Ethereum? Isolate the two. You hold one or the other until the end of the year. Where are you making more money?
Bitcoin or Ethereum?
Yeah.
By the end of the year?
Yeah.
Yeah, my whole point here was ETH's going to outperform Bitcoin. I don't think, but here's where you have to decide risk versus reward. Could you have Bitcoin outperform ETH? Yeah, I think it's less likely, but you're going to get healthy returns on either asset, right? Now, you got more potential for upside with ETH, but because, I mean, here's the thing. Like, could you see, let's just say this. Could you see, let's just go 5X's. Could you see a $600,000 Bitcoin? That is pretty high, right?
Yeah.
Could it happen? I could see it, but I think it's very low probability. Could you see a 5X out of ETH? A $15,000 ETH? I think that is way more likely than you seeing the opposite out of Bitcoin. But now at the same time, so that's your upside return there. And at the same time, with Bitcoin, could just keep performing as it has the last 5 years. You could just say like, hey, look at the last 5 years. Bitcoin is well outperformed ETH. Anybody in ETH has been kicking themselves in the butt.
You also got to think of the downside risk, right? Anything can happen. We're all saying Q4 is going to be bullish, but for all we know, some crazy shit happens globally and the entire market's tank. You also got to think of that too, right? You always got to think of best case, worst case, and your base case, right? Be prepared for the worst case, be ready for the best case, but just expect the base case, right? And so worst case scenario also, if that does happen, then where's your money safer? And I think we can both agree that it's probably in BTC, correct?
You also got to take timing into account, right? Because, historically the top of the Bitcoin cycle has been in November to February, somewhere in there. Depends on what metrics you're looking at. So you would say that like, hey, I only got 6 months till the top. Potentially. Now, I do think it's going to be an extended cycle. I don't think that we're going to have the big sell-off that we have historically in the past, but it is something to think about. Could we get a typical cycle ending when it does? People would argue that's likely. I would argue less likely, but it's a real possibility. So then you start thinking about this. At some point, the market's going to top. Now, are we going to get a big sell-off, or is it going to be just a little bit? Is it going to be Bitcoin that just holds strong, only drops by 20% or 30%, and then altcoins get liquidated like they have time and time before? Now, perhaps that happens. If that happens, you're going to have to time it. So you start finding yourselves in this very interesting situation. Myself personally, what I would do is I would aim for a November target. If I'm going to decide to buy Bitcoin at this point in time, I'm buying it right now, and I'm setting a date regardless of outside factors. Setting a date, I will sell on November 1st. I will sell all of my Ethereum, and I will move it back into Bitcoin. That's what I would do, because I don't trust Ethereum in the long term. I don't trust Ethereum holding any price after a market top. But I do think that ETH is going to outperform Bitcoin over the next 4 months. So for that reason, I would say it's till November. But I would not feel comfortable holding it any later than that. Would not feel comfortable holding ETH into 2026.
Really?
Not against Bitcoin. Purchasing now.
But you're saying that extended rally, right? Into 2026?
Yeah. But I'm just telling you, that's where my risk lies. I think I look at it now. Maybe my theory changes. I don't know. But I think ETH will outperform Bitcoin over the next 5 months. Or 4 months. And in doing so, I'd be perfectly fine holding for 4 months. That's the way I invest. I like to set price targets and dates and then set to them, because later on my emotions will flip, and then who knows? I'll end up doing something stupid. So
I'm doing a poll real quick. Better ROI for remainder of Bitcoin or ETH. Okay, make sure to cast your vote in the poll. Let's check in on President Trump. Apparently, he's announcing a global tariff. Yeah. Okay, well, here's him talking about crypto and Bitcoin.
And I was in Bitcoin then, not knowing if I was going to do it a third time. So it's become amazing. I mean, it's the jobs that it produces. And I notice more and more you pay in Bitcoin. I mean, people are saying it takes a lot of pressure off the dollar. And it's a great thing for our country. So I don't care about investing. You know, I have kids, and they invest in different things. They do believe in it. But I'm president, and what I did do there is build an industry that's very important. And, you know, if we didn't have it, China would.
I like how he's saying he's not interested in buying Bitcoin or whatever, but he launched a meme coin. That's pretty cool, right? Okay. And then this was kind of cool, too. Sending Bitcoin with no internet. This is a new app called BitChat, created by, I think this dude might be Satoshi, bro. Jack Dorsey? I don't know. But anyways, either way, check this out. So there's no audio on this one. But everyone always talks about, well, what if internet goes out, right? And there's a lot of what ifs. Well, here's a way for you to transact with Bitcoin without any internet. I mean, the app looks kind of 1975-ish. But hey, you talk about no internet. What about people? No banking. They also have no internet. Here you go. Pretty cool. Any thoughts on this one here, Rob? Pretty straightforward, but.
I mean, here's the thing, though. Even though it is no internet, you're still connecting to the internet via jumps, right?
Well, this is through Lightning.
Yeah, but you're still connecting to the internet through jumps, right? And so even though you have zero internet, you're gonna need to be around some other cell phones that Bluetooth over to them, or use their Bluetooth technology to get onto the internet, essentially. So. Yeah, you might not personally need internet, but you're just kind of using hotspots, quote unquote, through Bluetooth to eventually land on the internet, right? So you can always tokenize. And, you know, I remember a while ago, Charles Hoskinson did an interview, and he was talking about having internet-free transactions. And the way you would do it is that you would have almost like a fiat representation where you'd have a tokenized, like, let's just say a gift card, right? You buy that gift card at Walgreens or whatever it is for someone's birthday.
My favorite place.
You put in $100. $100 is been removed from your bank account and is now on the card, or at least it has been removed on there, and then they can go and spend it elsewhere. But then once you swipe the card, money gets moved again. So there's an intermediary that holds it. Now, there's nothing stopping crypto from happening in the same way, right? You can have, say, a off the internet transaction where you load it up onto a card and then it gets removed from the Bitcoin network, and then it doesn't get put back on until that card gets redeemed somewhere else. It doesn't have to be a physical card. It could just simply be an address. And so we will find ourselves in a situation where you can transact without the internet. It's going to be a normal everyday thing. It just hasn't really become mainstream, or really, there hasn't really been a need for it. At least not here in the States. I'm sure there are needs for it elsewhere where there are internet problems. But I think that crypto will essentially adapt to every form of payment, and even included in fiat payments. And so I think you don't even need internet. You just happen to walk up to some shop. They don't have internet. I think there's going to be a way to sell Bitcoin or to accept Bitcoin if you wanted to, or stable coins in the future.
You know, you mentioned Charles Hoskinson. This is him talking about midnight. Take a look at this.
Like if you hold ADA, you're going to get Night tokens. Night could be a $10 billion product right out of the gate. And 50% of the supply is being allocated to ADA holders. And every year, these things are going to be dropping.
When does that airdrop happen?
The airdrop is the second half of the year. We'll have an announcement at Rare Evo about it. Like if you hold ADA, you're going to get Night tokens. Night.
So 10 billion right off the gate, huh? What are your thoughts?
I mean, sure, get some free tokens. Why not, man?
You're not convincing me. You think he's a little overzealous there? It's a big number.
The market cap it wouldn't surprise me. You know what? Could they have launched midnight a year ago when Bitcoin's price, what was Bitcoin's price 1 year ago? You're looking at $60,000. If you would have airdropped midnight at $60,000, it would be very hard to convince me that you would come out of the gates with a $10 billion market cap. It's not going to happen. However, we saw that airdrops and NFTs and new DEXs and new layer ones launching during the peaks of the bull market have been very beneficial for those projects, right? There is a list of ICO projects that happened to launch right at 2017 top that came out making crazy amount of money. Market cap valuations through the roof because they launched at the right time of the market. And if you think it's coincidence that as Bitcoin is in all-time highs, it is probably going to be a lot closer to 200,000 by the time that the midnight airdrop actually it lands. Is it coincidence? Will it see a $10 billion market cap? I think so. Absolutely. And it is done with intention. If you think that they just happened to release it during the bull market, right in the best time, you're mistaken. They know what the hell they're doing. Cardano's made a lot. The Cardano Foundation has made a lot of money. Also, if you want to just throw out a piece of conversation, it's like, hey, man, you know what? Cardano's become decentralized. It's in the hands of the people, right? And you know what? There's been some infighting between Charles and the Cardano Foundation with IOHK. There's all kinds of different behind-the-scenes drama. But what's not happening is you're not seeing anybody make any new money. They're not printing a bunch of tokens, right? So where you have people that have made a tremendous amount of money in a short term, I'm not saying anything malicious at all. I'm just saying that, hey, there's a lot of people behind Cardano that made a lot of money. And that well or that faucet has come to a stop. So you have what you have. And so if you got private jets and you got big ranches and you got, health facilities you're building and all kinds of different stuff, and you're not bringing any new inflow in, hey, why not? Let's do an airdrop. I'm not saying that there isn't.
Was that a shot at Charles?
It's not a shot at Charles. I'm just saying the reality of it is the timing of an airdrop is coming out at the perfect time in a bull market. And also, I'm not saying dude don't got cash, not in the slightest, but I'm just saying that like you could have done it without a token, without an airdrop. They've gotten this far with forks and upgrades. And so now I'm just saying that like, hey,
They're
man,
saying it's a cash grab. Just say it, bro.
it's legitimate tech that it's gonna work. I believe in it. I don't think that trying to add some suspense music there. So no, I'm not saying. The thing is, if it was a meme coin launch airdrop by that would be a different conversation. I am just saying that. Well, okay. Let's just say, are you mad at Apple for launching different products, for having the Apple TV and the Apple Watch, and be like, you know what, stick to the phone?
No, but I am mad at them for having a new freaking.
You know, Amazon went with AWS, right? One of the leaders in web services now. If not, they are the leader, right? Essentially, they also expanded their services outside of that. You know, they got the streaming, the radio. You can just go down the list. That's what companies do. They offer new services that are new revenue streams. And if the service is successful, then great, everybody wins. And so, hey, you know what? They're launching midnight at the right time, and they're going to make a ton of money off of it. There's going to be a lot of value just instantly created out of thin air. I'm not throwing shade at all. I'm just saying that, like, hey, he's about to deliver a badass product, and they're also about to make a shit ton of money.
SHI.
And they're launching it right at the perfect time. I'm just bringing it up. I literally don't have anything negative or even necessarily, I don't have nothing negative to say about it. Other than, like, you could have done it without an airdrop. And then again, I'm not a cryptographer. Maybe you need a token that has value for it to properly run. But I mean, it's an interesting timing dynamics where, hey, you know what? There's been some fighting.
What if it would have been tied into the
decentralization.
ADA token? Give more utility to that. I don't know. Maybe. Breaking news: Daniel Kaufman has sold all his Avalanche. Let's take a trip down memory lane. Rob, top 20 crypto tokens by market cap from 2017. Excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stablecoins. Let's take a trip down memory lane, my friend. Let's take. Well, XRP was leading. Remember Dash?
There's Litecoin number 2.
Yeah. ETH Classic was crushing. Remember? And then XRP. I mean, we're still in 2017 here, by the way. XRP was head and shoulders above everyone else. Bitcoin Cash towards the end of 2017, and then when the cycle topped, you had XRP sitting at the very, very top. And then you can just see the shitty ones that no one really knows about or hears about anymore
in there,
are starting to
3.
wither away. Right? Oh, the EOS down to like 4. But, okay, going into 2018. And so it's just interesting. You see the pace of the markets, what's still here, right? What do you see on your screen that is currently still here? That people are still pouring money into. And so every cycle is different. Every cycle there's new narratives. And so just keep that in mind. That's why you watch shows and do research, is to figure out which ones are worth holding. Okay, let's talk about this. I said there's a company that's doing a treasury. Well, it's this company doing that treasury. Mill City. No, this is not a record label. It is a company. $450 million to establish a corporate sweet treasury. Huh. Let me see if I have anything highlighted. I don't. You also have this one, Rob. Wind Tree Therapeutics to boost BNB holdings after $520 million in funding. Biotech company WindTree Therapeutics is on the cusp of increasing its crypto treasury bet. The firm announced 2 funding agreements worth $520 million to finance the purchase of BNB tokens in the coming weeks. This follows recent moves by the company as well as similar acquisitions from publicly listed firms. So, Rob, We have Ethereum. We have Ethereum treasury companies. We have Bitcoin treasury companies. We have XRP treasury companies. SWI, BNB. Is this getting out of hand, Rob? Is this going to be, right? ICOs blew up the 2017 cycle. NFTs blew up. NFTs and meme coins blew up the 2021 cycle. Will treasury companies blow up the 2025 cycle, Rob? Because if a company goes under, if something happens and they have to force sell X amount of whatever treasury asset they hold, could cause a ripple effect on the markets. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think it'll blow up the market, but I think it'll blow up certain projects. We saw it out of, what was the RWA play that blew up like 6 months ago? Mantra, yeah.
It was like 2 months ago.
It
wasn't super long ago.
It was more than 2 months, but maybe not quite 6. Either way, that was a lack of liquidity because it was centralized, and then you had some people behind the scenes moving money, timing. There's a lot of things behind it. But basically, you had overvaluated project simply because of a small amount of large wallets holding a large amount of the percentage of the tokens. It's not good for the market. And if those sell off and publicly traded companies' stock prices drop, it's going to be a cascading problem. Now, will that problem spill over to other altcoins? Perhaps. I mean, who knows? But
3 months. 3 months ago.
I think these companies are taking inherently a lot of risk. $500 million. I know it wasn't exactly that, but round up. $500 million of SWI. I mean, you're talking about something that is at a $13 billion market cap right now. You're talking about almost 5% just off top with shoddy liquidity on the back end. Like, you can only sell that OTC. There's no way you're going to be able to realize that. And so you're going to get a crappy price on something with that amount of liquidity coming in and buying, right? Or crappy price selling, right? They'll incentivize that money up front. Somebody will be like, hey man, you know what? They're $4 a SWI right now. Well, you buy that amount, we'll sell it to you for $2. Right? We'll sell it to you for $250, $260. Just buy $500 million. That's how it happens, right? And then that company comes in and like, hey, look, we bought it for $2. Look at the price now; it's $6. Look how great we're doing. Then they do something stupid. They borrow against it, or they say, hey, you know what? The $500 million buy is currently worth, let's say, if it's at $6 and they bought it at $2, it's now worth $1.5 billion. They're gonna say, we have $1.5 billion worth of SWI. Let's sell some of it. Good luck. And then what happens if they do sell some of it and they try to get that price? It's going to crash the market, right? And it's not a good move for giant companies.
It would depend on when they sell. If they're selling into high volume, let's say retail frenzies here, everyone's buying, then it'll be fine. But if they're trying to sell it while everything's going down, they're going to be getting.
So you think with that scenario, let's just say they bought that token and they got it for $2. I know they're
talking about SWI.
Yeah, the Mills City.
Yeah, Mill City. Yeah.
Let's say they bought $500 million. Say they got it for say, and also think about this. SWI currently is at. Let's take a look at the 1 month. So it was at $2.70 earlier this month. So maybe they've already bought it. Did they already buy it? Or?
I closed it out. Shit. I think so.
Either way, so they probably bought it.
Let's assume they bought it.
They bought it at $2. Let's say that.
Straight up.
Right. If it's at $2.70, they're buying $500 million. They probably got incentivized at $2.
That's all good.
So maybe I'm off by a little bit, but $2. If this gets to $6, very, very reasonable, right?
It's a lot of money.
No, but I'm just saying, SWI get $6.
Yeah, I'm saying
it's not.
If they bought, we're assuming they bought at $2. That's what you're saying, right?
It gets to $6.
$500 million. That's a lot of money.
They're at $1.5 billion.
I agree.
How the hell can they sell any of that?
Diamond hands, bro.
And if they do sell some of it,
But Robin, percentage relative to market cap is going to be the same. Because if it's at $6, the market cap has risen, and that.
But the problem is
1.5 is still 5%.
that price.
In fact, I could argue
not
it's
that price is not being spread out, right? There's a small amount of retail coming in, buying it off the order books that has inflated the price, and then you have a large, gigantic sums of tokens sitting on the sidelines,
really big,
and those you can't sell them. It's just that's the problem is that something's going to happen. They're going to have to sell it. Now imagine selling $1.5 billion worth of suite. Say something went wrong. Say they mismanaged the keys.
That's what I'm saying.
This has happened
anything
so
can
many
happen.
times
Anything can
before. And so, yeah, I think it's going to blow up projects. I think individual projects, one by one, will explode. Not all of them, but I think if you had 50 projects where it had large institutions investing in it, I'd say 20% of them will probably feel some kind of demise. Maybe it's just a lack of liquidity and the price dropped down just like Mantra did. There was nothing wrong with Mantra. He just had a lack of liquidity with a lot of large holders. Or it could be like what Harmony won last bull market. Mismanagement of the keys.
No, it was
It could be an ETH.
It was the bridge hack.
Could be an ETH situation from 2016 where, hey, they got hacked or whatever it was. And Harmony didn't get hacked. They had a key.
I thought it was a bridge hack.
No, they had three keys.
Okay.
The multi-sig keys. 2 of them got compromised. And
RUNE was a bridge hack.
RUNE was a bridge hack. Either way, there's just example after example after example after example of different projects blowing up. And so there's so many different points of failure when it comes to these smart contracts. I mean, that's the beauty of Bitcoin. Bitcoin in itself is super simple. I send it from one address to the other. That's it. That's all it does. You can't attack that.
You can. Good luck.
You can, and historically it has. And the attack vectors are miners or nodes. That thing's been running so long and so decentralized, so many miners and nodes. Good luck. You're not gonna get at it.
It's been so long.
But when you get into these layer 1 smart contracts with multiple bridges everywhere and multiple SIG wallets everywhere and vulnerabilities and lack of liquidity, things are gonna blow up. And if you haven't been around for a bull market before and seen what it looks like on the tail end, it just keeps cascading. And then the same way that we cover news right now, where we're like, hey, U.S. buying, Trump's talking about crypto, Jack Dorsey, Satoshi, like all these bullish things that we end up talking about. These things are every day, right? The same thing happens on the back end, except for it ain't positive. It's all negative. Like, hey, this crypto blew up. This exchange went under. Hey, this person went to jail. This person's getting sued.
Absolutely nothing to do with anything. But you know how things change over time? Like the pound sign became the hashtag sign, right? Like things change, right?
Okay.
This is going nowhere. Okay, I give up what I was going to say because I already know how it's going to go. And this dude here.
Breaking news! Those of you that used to call the pound sign, it is now have a new name. It's been rebranded to hashtag. No longer do you need to hit pound 115 to get information. You can just hit hashtag.
I hate you. I hate you.
Let me get a minute.
Nope. Big thank you to Cam's Blue Wire Technology for being our longest tenure channel sponsor.
You were giving me crap about ad
Shut
reading,
your mouth.
and you're eating a mint, chewing a mint
about what I mean.
while you're doing the ad read.
And
you're trying to say you're a better ad reader than me.
I want my mouth to be as fresh as our networking, which is why we are partnered with Cam's, because they keep everything fresh up in the studio. All jokes aside, you want to maximize your networking, IT, and cybersecurity, and you run a business, Cam's is the way to go. You guys know how important they've been to us, so big thank you to Cam's for sponsoring today's show. That'll do it. Come join me, Sistine Trading. I'll be going live in about 5 to 8 minutes. I need maybe a few minutes just to kind of regroup, get my stuff together, and I'll meet you guys over there. With that being said, Gina. Not yet. Before that being said, I want to say this. Hedera video is already out. You got an XLM video coming out in about 1 hour. Watch the content. Support the channel. We love you. Gina.
Yeah. Hashtag Hedera. Hashtag Stellar Lumens. Hashtag Gina. Pound sign Antoine. Let's go.
Pound
Sin
sign
City
and-
Crypto. Cash is Cuvée. Yeah. Sin City Crypto. Everybody know what we here for. Entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in. For big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I split the game, but they gave it. Name the coin, it's your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy a dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming hola, till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't don't be letting FOMO control ya. It's over when the finger tornado close ya.